This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for $35,000. You heard right. That's 5,000 square feet for $35,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100 foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait. So call 866-91-STEEL. Lock in your price now. Call 866-91-STEEL. That's 866-917-8335.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
On Facebook, on the news, and in conversations with friends, we're bombarded every day with advice on how to be healthier, from gluten-free and non-GMO diets to how much exercise and sleep the body needs. But how much have you heard about alkalizing the body? AlkaVision Plasma pH drops are a holistic and natural way to get your body's pH levels back in balance. Just a few drops in water will help your body rid itself of harmful waste. And even the healthiest of diets can be complemented with your daily use of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops. Who isn't looking for more vibrance, vigor, and energy? Now buy 2 bottles of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops and get $10 off your order. Visit alkavision.com or call 800-518-7615. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops are packed with a powerful combination of the most alkaline minerals and compounds. Open the door to greater health, vitality, and zest for life. Alkalize your body. Supercharge your health. Call 800-518-7615 or head to alkavision.com.
UnseenNow.com, proud sponsor of GCN. Unseen Now's unparalleled encryption tools keep your communications secure. GC.
Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Webster, Tarpley here in Washington, D.C. That's a great report from Athens. I think we've got the inside track on what's actually going on in this all-important Greek election, which may blow the lid off the International Monetary Fund world system. Now, we're going to be joined here in a second by Daniela Walls, the president, the chairwoman, actually, of the Tax Wall Street Party. I'm just repeating. In Silver Spring, Maryland, we are going to have our class on the political economy of the American system. It is a seminar. It's philosophy, economics, politics, other issues. Starts at about 7 o'clock in the evening. Probably registration would probably start about 6 p.m. January 23rd, that's a Friday, and the seminar goes 23rd, 24th, 25th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Send an email to taxwallstreetparty@gmail.com. Include your name and phone number, and we'll start the registration process. So, Daniela, I think you have the best overview of anybody of the situation of Reverend Pinckney. We've just tried to do an interview with him, and that prison there in Jackson, Michigan has held him incommunicado for a second week in a row. He's a political prisoner, and he's being prevented from speaking to the world. So please give us the update.
And I've gotten word from him and the prison that not RT can't get through, CNN can't get through, so no major news service can get through to Reverend Pinckney at this point. So I'm going to speak for him again. Today is the most important Reverend Edward Pinckney announcement that I'm making because it is January 10th and Reverend Pinckney's final sentencing is January 15th. That makes this the last update before the final sentencing. There's a lot that each individual can do now to affect the outcome of January 15th's final sentencing, but you have to do it. Like never before, this is not the time to be an idle spectator, so here we go. It is crystal clear that if a juror, in this case Gail Freeling, lied by omission during the voir dire, that the defendant, Reverend Edward Pinckney, is entitled to an evidentiary hearing on whether his lawyer, Tat Parrish, would have never let Gail Freeling serve on that jury. We need listeners to write a letter to Judge Chirac. This is the second round of letters. Send this letter out priority mail because it needs to arrive before January 15th. And if you are in a foreign country, fax the letter to 269-982-8643. All of this information will be at freepinkney.wordpress.com, freepinkney.wordpress.com. We have moved this specific information to the homepage, so it will be the first thing you see when you open the site. On the homepage, you will see sample letter to Judge Chirac from a lawyer. If you read the lawyer's main footnote on the letter in bolded text at the bottom of the page, he cites the Mann-Sphere panel. That makes it very clear that the courts are likely going to reverse the trial court if Judge Chirac does not grant an evidentiary hearing on whether a preemptory challenge would have been made. This is the strongest legal position that has been raised and is going to be ruled one way or another on January 15th. Tat Parrish has asked for an evidentiary hearing. We need people in their letters to make sure that they let Judge Chirac know that he needs to grant an evidentiary hearing on whether there was prejudice. The test under Michigan law in that situation where the juror lies by omission is to have a hearing on would Tat have exercised his right to strike that juror, Gail Freeling. This is a slam dunk because all we would need to do at that point when we are granted the evidentiary hearing is put Tat up on the stand and Tat would say, hell yeah, I would have struck Gail Freeling had she answered that she was work colleagues with the prosecution. Judge Chirac has to grant us an evidentiary hearing. The judge is not being faithful to Michigan law if he does not at least grant an evidentiary hearing to determine if the juror would have been struck had she responded truthfully. I think the evidence or the emphasis, I think the emphasis in the letters from the activists needs to be on telling Judge Chirac that you, Judge Chirac, would not be faithfully honoring the law if you do not at least hold a hearing to make a determination on whether or not that juror would have been struck if she had revealed that she works closely with the key members of the prosecution, both Sheriff Paul Bailey and Clerk Sharon Tyler at the annual Blossom Time Festival Committee and the annual Flag Day Parade for at least the last 10 years. At this point, the best we can hope for is to get that evidentiary hearing. Gail Freeling hired a lawyer, and no wonder she hired a lawyer, Webster, because maybe she went to see that lawyer and he looked at it and did the same research our team has done and said, Sharon, you may be called to the witness stand in some evidentiary hearing coming up, and you may need me as your attorney. If Judge Chirac ultimately determined that if Gail Freeling would have spoken up that she would have been struck, then he has no other choice than to grant a new trial. Please do not simply copy and paste this letter. It was a well-researched effort meant only to inform your communications to Chirac within a legal framework. You are encouraged to share this letter in its entirety with lawyers to inform their work on the case. The lawyers... Oh, and there's something else I wanted to mention. The lawyers came to the preliminary conclusion that there is nothing improper in the sentencing him and taking him to prison before the motions for a new trial. and briefs in support are heard. It's not morally right, but Michigan rules require the sentencing take place promptly, which technically it is, since it's only been 1 month from the preliminary hearing. But here's the good news. The lawyers have seen several other cases where motions for new trial were granted months after sentencing and imprisonment. So because because the judge could grant a retrial on January 15th, this is why we need another round of letters to Judge Chirac. Remember how he brought up the 130-plus letters from activists in all the media that he did, even though he found a way to mock them and say that they came from outside Southwest Michigan, etc. This time, we have a sample letter from a lawyer. So what you write can be more than just opinion and emotion. Use what the lawyer wrote as a guideline to yourself, but do not copy it or make it seem like a duplicate. You remember that the judge said the last time that some of the letters were duplicates. This is because people copied and pasted the last sample letter that we had up to a month ago at freepinkney.wordpress.com. And when I put a task out for us to accomplish, it's up to each individual or each of you to use some shrewdness, because I can't anticipate what's going to, go right or wrong. So
absolutely correct. I would say people should paraphrase. They should put it a little bit in their own words, not word for word copying, but paraphrasing. Right, vary it.
Right, exactly, and. So the information in the sample letter is just there to make sure you stay within a legal framework, like you said. So if you know a lawyer, send this sample letter to them and have them write something similar. This will help the lawyer or judge, with their research. The goal in this letter is to emphasize Judge Chirac's duties and responsibilities as a judge, and to ensure this conviction is free from all partiality on the part of the judge and jury toward the Whirlpool Corporation or the Upton family, etc. Canon 2, Section C, says that a judge should not allow family, social, or other relationships to influence judicial conduct or judgment. Reverend Pinckney is a longtime political activist, as we know, in Berrien County and Benton Harbor, and a well-known political opponent and critic of the Whirlpool Corporation and county government. Before and during the recall petition effort, Mr. Pinckney was the subject of frequent verbal attacks against his recall efforts by elected city and county officials. Shortly after his conviction, it was reported that Berrien County Sheriff Paul Bailey, who's a friend of that juror Gail Freeling, stated at a Republican Party meeting that we got Pinckney.
Correct.
Send your letters, Webster.
We got it. Daniela, thank you. People should send letters in precisely that way. And that's all at the website, which I'll repeat in the next segment. Thanks very much, Daniela. See you next week. So remember, the first place you want to go to is freepinkney.wordpress.com. freepinkney.wordpress.com. There you have everything, and in particular, letters to Judge Chirac. I think it's SCHROCK. And focus on the legal arguments that are given in that form letter. Rephrase it, paraphrase it. And the fax number for these letters to go to the judge, 269-982-9, let's start from the beginning, 269-982-8643, 8643, and please do it now. Send it, not just priority mail, but express mail, so it'll be there. If you send it on Saturday, it'll probably be there on Monday. That's the way to do it. Don't skimp on the postage. Now, to wrap up this situation, many important stories have been crowded away. Komsomolskaya Pravda has put out a very interesting interview. You can read it on Voltaire Network in English and in other Western languages. Take your pick. Here we have a guy called Captain Voloshin of the Ukrainian Air Force, Kiev branch, and he's at an air base in eastern Ukraine flying a Sukhoi 25, and normally these planes don't carry air-to-air missiles, but on the day that the famous Malaysian airliner was tragically shot down last July, Captain Voloshin took off in his Su-25 loaded with air-to-air missiles, and according to an eyewitness interviewed by Komsomolskaya Pravda, When he came back, the air-to-air missiles were all gone. No more missiles had he shot them off.